Hey, who said that America will never be destroyed from the outside? If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. This quote is so wow. It's super enlightening, and it really makes you think, not just about politics and our freedom. That's a whole different video. But this really does make us think about what is in our control. And so when you look at even the things that's going on in our world now, things that have happened in our past and our history, it really has a lot to do with the individuals, within ourselves. And so I really like this quote because it really spans past just politics or just our nations, but it really gets down to the individual and what is within our control, and what do we have the part to play into our future. And like this quote says, it's really about ourselves and within us. And so our nation and freedom aside, I really wanted to focus in on this particular quote and really think about how it applies individually, because I challenge you as you are in your growth and you're growing and learning and developing and becoming better. It's really about looking at yourself first. If you've seen some of my videos before, you've seen that I'm asking you to ask yourself questions. Just recently, last week, I put one on about asking yourself, what do I play? What role do I have in this? What do I do? And this is really asking us and telling us that same thing, right? Is if we are in trouble, or if we lose our freedoms, or if we're not in the right place where we desire to be, where we need to be, where we should be, let's look within ourselves. Because a lot of times, Jim Rohn said this when he was talking about when he was being mentored by his mentor, Mr. Schoaf, that he had a long list of things of why he wasn't successful, and he named everything, right? Politics and the weather and the neighbor down the street and so long. And isn't that true? We do that ourselves, right? If we can be honest, we have a list of things that we blame on to everybody else. But his mentor said the problem with your list is that you're not on it. And so when we look at where we are at, how we're responding to situations, where are we at in our work, where are we at in relation to our family, with our spouse, with our children, it's not about them, it's about us. Because we can't control them. We can't control our workers, our boss. We can't control upper management, right? We can control us. We can control what we do. And so if you're working and you're looking at your team and you're saying, hey, we have a mess here, let's not look at to blame for somebody else, but let's see, what do? I'm to blame here, right? Let's take my responsibility, which is a great thing that a leader does. A leader is always going to, when there's a success, they're always going to give the praise and the credit to their team. And when there's a failure, when there's something wrong, they're going to take the blame. They're going to put it all on themselves that they were at fault. And so that's going to be something that a great leader does. And it's because they're saying this. if it's not outside measures that's causing the problem, it's the inside. It's me. Where did I falter? Where did I fail? What did I not do? What did I do? Right? And so there's things that I want to talk about, things that we look at that's our standard. That's such a big thing. Right now, you can look around and there's not a standard for anything. It's just, and if there's no standard, then just everything goes. Whatever goes, goes, right? And that's it. There's not a standard. And that happens with, let's say, within our family or just personally within our health, right? If I don't have a standard of how I'm eating, then everything goes. And if everything goes, then I'm starting to develop heart issues, right? I'm eating too much. I'm having different health problems and these different things because everything goes. But if I have a standard, which I do, I am plant-based, and so I have a standard of what I eat. So when I go out, that standard limits me from actually consuming so much, which has been the best thing for me because I love to eat. And so it gives me that standard of saying, I'm not able to consume this because it doesn't meet up to my standard. My standard is no animal products. And so as much as that cupcake looks super delicious, it doesn't meet my standards, right? And so nothing gets to pass that standard that I have. And so I challenge you as you're looking into yourself of not on the outside, but you're looking into yourself and you question, what standard am I placing? What standard am I placing on my beliefs, on my family, on my habits, on what I do? So one of the things that I'll say now, I mean, I am a home mom, and I take care of my kids and I homeschool them, and I have 3 kids under 5 years old. And so sometimes at nights, I can be woken up at night multiple times. And when that happens, I don't want to get up super early in the morning. So, and that's also an excuse. I'm going to be honest. That's also an excuse because I can push through it and say, I'm still going to get up early and I'm going to do these different things. And so that's my excuse. I'm struggling with that right now. That's what I'm working on right now, is just saying no excuses. I'm going to get up. It doesn't matter if I only got 3 hours of sleep last night. I'm going to get up. But again, it's my inner thing. If I'm looking at it and saying, oh, it's because the kids woke me up. It's an exterior thing. That's an excuse. But when I look at the inside and say, really, I want to sleep. Really, I don't want to get up by myself early in the morning. Everybody's still asleep. Let's be honest, that's the truth, right? I love my sleep more than I love the idea of getting up and working out or doing my morning routines before everybody else gets up. And so there, once again, is a standard. And so I just want to challenge you guys to look at your standard that you have across the board, across everything. You want to, back to the quote, you want to talk about politics. What's the standard? It can't just be everything goes. If you have a standard for your work and how you produce, there has to be a standard. We talk about how leaders are righteous, on my channel. So look at those videos. But there has to be a standard, because if I don't have a standard of how I'm going to work or how I'm going to lead my team or how I'm going to respond in certain situations, if I don't have a standard that I value people, then I'm not going to respond in accordance to that standard. Anything goes. And so there goes my attitude. There goes my backlash on people, how my response on them. There goes how I just want to, act out on my emotions, which we don't want to do that, because emotions should not dictate our actions. Okay? And so there has to be a standard. And so that's what I wanted to focus on this quote. I really, really like this quote, that it's not about being destroyed from the outside, right? It's really about ourselves, and our inside. And I think a lot of that has to do with our standard. And so, friends, I hope you have really take encouragement this Monday, motivation from this quote, and really think about the standards that you have and where you need to adjust them at. And even if you have a standard for somewhere, we want to be open up to knowledge across the board, right? And say, is my standard up to par of what is truth and what is right? You know, because I can have a standard for something. Like, I can totally have a standard, and my standard is I'm not going to eat anything that isn't processed, you know, and so I say yes to cookies, and I say yes to chips, and I say that can totally be a standard, and that's not a good healthy standard, because that's soon going to get you into the hospital with some, you know, sicknesses. So there can definitely be negative standards, bad standards, standards that are not allowing you to fulfill your potential and your God-given purpose. And so reflect, friends, on your actions, on your standards, on the outcome of the standards that you are placing in. Because the goal here, right, what this quote is saying is our standards should be in such a way that we continue to maintain and thrive on the freedoms or on our goals, on our purpose, on our potential that we have. Not to be destroyed, but to continue to grow and to thrive. And so those are the standards you want, and I encourage you to look at those today. Hope you've been encouraged. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have. And if you would like some a complimentary training, 30 minutes to 1 hour for your team or for your company, please reach out to me. I'm happy to come in and do that complimentary for you. I'd love to hear from you. Have a fantastic day. Hey friends, so I just wanted to share that as I was, after I recorded my morning motivation video and just thinking about what I talked about and the quote that we mentioned, right, about outside exteriors affecting what is it really about, the inside. I just wanted to share with you about how I'm actually putting this into practice. So it's not just, you know, I'm teaching you, but I'm also leading myself. And so, you know, you know that I homeschool the kids, so I'm talking to the kids and sitting down, and they're just not really having it right now. And so they just want to play and play and play. And so it was easy for me to get upset and like frustrated, like they're not listening and they're not, you know, they just want to play around. And I want to put it all on them. And so I loved this quote and what I just taught you, because it really made me think and say, you know what? Okay, what is it about me? What do I need to do? What do I need to change to kind of bring it about so I can help them love to learn and want them to grow? And so I turn it around, and so I'm asking myself the questions, and it really changed my whole, you know, just my demeanor and my thoughts, and just the whole how I was feeling, you know, from just like almost defeated and to just where I was, okay, what do I do? And so that's where I'm focusing on, is what can I do, and making it about me. So just wanted to share some real life applications on how I'm putting my Monday motivation into practice. Hope you guys have a great Monday.